Our final keynote speaker will be Jeff Marootian, Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy at the U.S. Department of Energy. Prior to his current position, Mr. Marootian served as Senior Advisor to the Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, as well as Special Assistant to the President in the Biden-Harris White House. His background is sustainable transportation technologies is further highlighted by his earlier work as the Director of the District Department of Transportation and as Assistant Secretary for Administration and Chief Sustainability Officer at the U.S. Department of Transportation in the Obama-Biden administration. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Marootian to the stage.
Okay. Good afternoon. It is very exciting to be here with all of you to talk about a topic that we at the U.S. Department of Energy are very excited about, very interested in, and particularly interested in furthering our partnerships with many of the folks that are here in this room. So I very much appreciate the opportunity to be here, appreciate the opportunity to be here with some of my distinguished colleagues in the Biden-Harris administration, with whom I've had the pleasure of working on SAF and furthering our efforts with biofuels specifically. So I want to talk just briefly a little bit about the commitments that we've made in the Biden-Harris administration and at the Department of Energy specifically to further the work for sustainable fuels broadly. It's important to note that at the Department of Energy, we're focused on decarbonizing all of our hardest to decarbonize areas. That includes buildings, industrial processes, and the entire transportation system, all modes. And we know that the hardest among those is, of course, the aviation sector. And in order to do that, we know that partnerships and collaboration are essential. We know that partnerships here with our industry colleagues, with organized labor, with states, municipalities, tribes, are all key to securing the needed supply chain and putting in place all of the necessary economic factors to produce sustainable aviation fuels and to really make it viable. We also know that international collaboration is important and is key, and that's why I think it's so incredibly helpful to have forums like this where we can come together to talk about many of the issues and challenges and key goals that we have mutually. The Department of Energy and our 17 national labs have been leading the way in research and development in biofuels for many, many years. Our national labs have state-of-the-art facilities and have really pushed the envelope in looking at biofuels broadly. We are very fortunate to have President Biden's leadership and have him champion two really critical laws for us, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act, which gave us the financial tools to take that research and development and scale it to demonstrations and deployment. And so we are now able to put resources behind taking that R&D and bringing it to life. And I'm going to talk about just a few examples of that. At the Department of Energy, we've launched what we call Earth Shots. And they are based on President Kennedy's moonshot. Several years ago, we launched a sunshot to bring the cost of solar energy down dramatically by 90%. In 2011, the cost of solar energy was considerably higher than it is today, and that's because we focused all of our resources and attention on doing everything that we could to create an ecosystem that would bring the cost down. We've recently launched a Clean Products and Fuels shot, and with resources from the Inflation Reduction Act, we stood up a new facility at our Idaho National Lab focused on biomass feedstock. All of the tools that are necessary for us to test feedstock, to secure the supply chain that's necessary, to ensure that our processes are decarbonizing along with the fuel outcomes themselves. All of that now lives at a state-of-the-art research facility, which we cut the ribbon on just a few months ago. All of that is in support of our SAF Grand Challenge, which I know many of you are familiar with. As has been noted, the U.S. currently uses about 21 billion gallons of commercial jet fuel, and this market is projected to grow to over 35 billion gallons by 2050. And so we know that the demand for sustainable aviation fuel is there. Our job is to support all of the necessary components of bringing it to market. So our SAF Grand Challenge is a whole of government approach to overcoming some of those barriers, to establishing a resilient, sustainable aviation fuel industry. And our goals, as my colleague noted, are aggressive. 3 billion gallons of SAF by 2030, on the way to 2050, where we hope to achieve 35 billion gallons. So what we need to do in order to get there is take all of the opportunities we can to test, to collaborate, and I'm excited to see many of the industry partners, certainly as was noted by Deputy Assistant Secretary Gomez, companies like United who are here, but companies that are also doing some cutting edge work in partnership like LanzaJet with the Department of Energy. Very excited to see you here and for the continued partnership and collaboration that I know we'll have going forward. It is going to take a whole of government approach, but it's also really going to take a whole of industry approach too. And so we're looking forward to the rest of this day, but also really looking forward to what we know will be further collaboration to help us achieve these important milestones. So thank you so much. Very honored to be here and honored to have this conversation with all of you.